Saxon Algebra 1. This is our review session for the winter midterm, which is coming up on Thursday, April 2nd. I just talked to Jayla and Lydia about their midterm, which is April 1st. So if I get it confused and I talk about Wednesday, just please ignore my babbling and just remember your test is Thursday, April 2, and I'm going to ask you guys to test at the same time that our class usually met, which was foggy, but let's call it 1 to 2 p.m. All right, that's when I would like you to take the test. The reason why I want you to take it at a specific time is because I'm going to make myself available to you by phone during that time. I'm basically going to sit on my phone and not let myself get distracted, so that if you have any questions, you can email me, text me, call me, whatever you want. Calling is actually probably the best way to do it. What I'm going to ask is that, okay, so I will be available. You can reach out to me with questions. That's why we're setting the time, is so that you know that you'll be able to track me down at that time. If for some weird reason that I can't imagine what, you can't test from the 1 to 2 p.m. slot, you need to reach out to me ahead of time and let me know that, so that you and I can find another time when we can both be available. So that's the way it'll work in terms of me being available to you to help you while you're taking the test. Let me give you a few more facts about the test. There will be 10 questions, just like we had at Christmas time. They will be worth 5 points each. That's just like our review problems, right? I will grade them exactly like our review problems, where if you get it all right, you get the full 5 points. If you get it partially right, then I will credit. That's why I like to have. It's not just right or wrong. It gives me a spectrum to grade you on. The problems will be straight from the homework. I don't make them up. I don't have a secret stash of more difficult problems that I use. I basically, let's see, we studied up through 88. So what I do is I go into lessons 89, 90, 91, and I look for problems from the lessons I want. You know how they have the little parentheses that tells you what lesson they're from. I just look for those little numbers based on the lesson that I want to test you on, and then I look at the problem to make sure that it's a reasonable problem too. Sometimes he throws some weirdos in there. You know that better than I do. But that's how we do it. I do encourage you, as I already said, to ask me questions as we test. You may have heard me say this before, but when I was a math student, I thought that was cheating to ask questions during a test. I thought that was forbidden, and that my teacher would bite my head off if I even thought about asking questions. I was wrong. Teachers actually like it when students ask questions because it means they're paying attention. And you don't have to worry about whether it's cheating or not to ask a certain question. You don't have to worry about whether, oh, is this like a question I shouldn't ask because it'll give too much away. It's my job to give you an answer that doesn't give you too much information but points you in the right direction. So let me worry about how to answer it in a fair way. You don't have to worry about asking it in a fair way. You'll take the test in regular class time. We already talked about that. Okay. And we said that's 1 to 2 p.m., even though that's kind of rough. I am going to drop this off and pick this test up from your front door. I'm not going to ring the bell. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm just going to lay a manila envelope, colored envelopes. I'm just going to lay it on your step. The test for your siblings will be in there too, so don't throw theirs away. I mean, you know, that wouldn't be very nice, but it would be kind of funny. Oh, sorry. I'm going to drop them off. Let's see. Probably before noon. And then I will pick them up around 2:30 to 3 p.m., okay? So your job, after you finish taking your test, is to put the test back into the envelope that it came in and put it back on the front porch wherever I left it. Just put it in the same place. So that way we can keep our 6-foot bubbles, but we don't have to rely on the post office to drag these things back and forth. Okay, so those are the facts about the test. I'm now going to go through a list of the lessons that we've most recently worked on and tell you whether or not they're likely to be on the test. And then at the end of that discussion, I'm going to give you your homework assignment for Tuesday and Wednesday so that you know how to study for the test. So we will start by setting up a couple columns here. We'll have the lesson number, and then we'll have the description of what that covers. And then over in this column, I'm going to put a Y for yes, N for no, M for maybe. Okay, so you'll know whether or not it's on the test. They're going to be mostly yeses, let's be honest. We actually solved quadratic equations. And this was the one where I thought I was talking, and I said some things that were slightly confusing. I hope you ignored me. Okay, this is definitely going to be on the test. Oh, look, and there's a big hole where I want to put my Y. That's a yes. We will definitely have those problems on there. If you don't know how to do them, or if they confuse you, please yell. Well, don't yell, because I won't be able to hear you. Please message me and say, oh, I'm slightly confused. Okay, 87. 87 is a classic example of the two parts. It has part A, which is on systems of equations. It's got the 4 equations where you've got the RT, equals, R equals, T equals. Remember those? Those will probably be on there because we're going to build on those. So I want you to have them in good shape. Part B of 87 is the vertical line test. That is super easy and somewhat useful. I'm going to call that a maybe. 86, I'm flipping backwards through the book, is dividing polynomials. It's not a no, it's not a yes. I'm calling that a maybe also. The reason that I am not calling that a firm yes is because we don't really build very much on that division of polynomial things. 85 also has 2 parts, stem and leaf, which would be a super cute name for a plant store. It's a maybe. And B is the histograms. Well, I don't usually use this. I don't usually come to this decision, but I'm going to say right now, that's a no. We're not going to test on histograms. Life's too short, you guys. Life is too short. Functions. 84. The first part is multiplying radicals. That's a yes. The second part is functions. And it's where we have these weird, the circle-y things. And all the questions of the tests. I'll tell you what, if we were to have one, it would be, well, no, I'm just going to say maybe. That's a maybe on those. I'm more likely, well, no, I'm not going to say that either. It's a maybe, just like vertical line test. The multiplying the radicals in 84, that's yes. Okay, here comes a firm yes. 83, coin problems. Take it to the bank, you guys. I'm definitely going to have a coin problem on the test because I love them. 82. The two-parter. Evaluating functions, yes. That's probably a yes. Probably a yes. That's not a very clear statement, is it? Domain and range, probably not. These annoy me. John's just breaking it down into baby steps and it just makes it more confusing. Lesson it's graphical solutions. It's the whole thing about consistent or inconsistent, dependent or independent. That's a firm maybe. 80. Scientific notation, yes. We build on that a lot. This is the process that if you ever have a chemistry class, they're going to definitely drag you through that process, and you're going to be so smart because you already know how to do it. Systems of equations with subscripted variables is 79. It's similar to this one. Say systems of equations. I'll probably test you on either 87 or 79. I'm going to say this is like 87. So I would say yes that I'll do either 79 or 87. I probably won't do both, but one or the other. 78, rational equations, yes. Let's say how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, that's more than enough material for you to study. Okay. I was just looking further back to see if there was anything back there I desperately wanted to test you on, and there isn't. Okay, so first thing we talked about were the logistics of the test. Second thing that I talked about is material we're likely to cover on the test. And then the third thing is how to study. Okay, oh, by the way, if you haven't been taking notes on this already, why don't you right now run and get a piece of paper and something to write with, and create your own version of this list. You can just do the A and B. You don't necessarily have to write out all this description stuff, but make sure you get the lesson numbers, the A's and B's, or just the whole lesson, and then the yes, maybes, and no's. All right, there was only one no, but I'm really excited I gave you one no. I will wait here, pause me, and come back. I'll wait for you. You're back. I'm back. Third thing that I want to cover is what to do for homework. You're watching this on Tuesday morning, hopefully. So this is your homework for later in the day on Tuesday plus Wednesday as you prepare for the test on Thursday. So here's what I would like you to do. Start your review with the most recent lesson. So that would be start at lesson 88. What I want you to do is work the examples in the lessons. Now, I've already done the examples, right? That's what I do when I teach you. But I want you to go back to those because you probably don't remember them, A, and because underneath each example is the most complete type of solution that you'll find. John gives you more details in the examples than he does in the solutions manual. So if you don't understand a problem, then the best place to get some guidance so you can figure it out is in the examples. So I want you to work the examples of each lesson from last to first. And there's a method to that madness too. Let's say you're at lesson 88, and so there's example 88.1, Let's just say there are 4 examples. I don't know that that's true, but just pretend with me. So here they are. I want you to work this one first, because usually the examples go from easiest to hardest. So if you start by working the hardest one, that will give you a pretty good idea whether or not you'll be successful with these. If you work this one and it's killing you, then you know, okay, I better go back and look too. If you work this one and you're like, that's easy, then move on. You don't have to necessarily spend a lot of time on that. Make sure that you divide your time among the different lessons wisely. Okay? Spend more time on the lessons that you don't understand. Spend less time where you are confident. So I'm going to say focus on, I'm going to put it in quotes, more difficult lessons. Now, difficulty, like beauty, is in the eye of the beholder. So what's difficult to Kyle may not be difficult to Micah. What's difficult to Abby is not necessarily difficult to Kyle. You understand my point. So don't worry about what other people are doing, but just put your time on the lessons that are giving you more drama, but make sure that you cover all of the lessons. Let's see, it was 88 through 78, right? I'm just taking a peek backwards, yeah. Make sure you cover all of them. Don't run out of time because you spend so much on the first half of the lesson that you forget to go back and review the older ones. And generally speaking, I will say this, because our brains forget easily, we tend to forget the older lessons, right? And you go, oh, those are easy, I know how to do those. We tend to forget older material first. Okay? So don't fall into that trap of thinking, oh, it's easy, I'll remember, and then, oops, it's hard to remember when you're testing. All right? There is your homework plan for Tuesday and Wednesday. That will prepare you for the test that you will take on Thursday. I will be checking in with you. Abby, I still haven't talked to you since this whole adventure began. So I'd really like you to reach out to me by phone whenever you have time. But I want to check in with everybody again to make sure that you're on track for the homework. And again, please do not hesitate to ask me questions. All right? Okay, good luck with your review.